Alright guys, today I want to cover, I guess that's a pretty controversial topic, and I'd say probably a topic that not many people will cover, and that is assist feeding ball python hatchlings. And when I first started breeding ball pythons, I saw different people, kind of stuffing the rodent in the mouth of the hatchling. I thought, I will never do that. There's got to be a different way. And then I ended up with, over 80 hatchlings. And take a look at this. So all these hatchlings. So this is the very first hatchling from this year. And I put on here 8 6+ rodents. And once they eat 6 rodents, they will eat anything, let me tell you. And then you can switch over to frozen thawed or anything. So all these hatchlings, all the way down to here, and you'll notice this tub has nothing. Nothing. And then the one right next to it has eaten 5, one more meal, and that one will eat 6. So this ball python hatchling right here has not had a single meal since it hatched out. And it actually doesn't look like it's in that bad of a body condition right now. This thing's going crazy and hissing, and but so this would be a ball python I would consider assist feeding. It's not in that bad a shape right now, but I actually have another one that is really concerning. So take a look at this. If I get this one back in here without getting out. So actually, those are my oldest ones, and then I kind of started up here, and these have all been eating really good. This one ate 6 rodents, and all of them are kind of catching up except this bamboo right here. And this one I am really worried about. So take a look at this ball python. This is a female bamboo, and look how extremely skinny this snake is. Extremely skinny. And it has not had a single meal. So I'm going to attempt an assist feeding, and I'll kind of show you how I do it. But let me put this girl back. And some of these that have eaten once, usually if they eat once, then you don't have to worry about it. And then I have some other ones like this one. This one hasn't eaten anything either, and she is kind of getting left behind. So this is probably another one I would consider assist feeding. This is a Pastel female, and she's got a little bit better body condition. So when they hatch out, they have pretty good body condition. And this one I'd probably be on the fence because she hasn't really been out that long. And the further down you get in my rack here, so this stuff on the very bottom that hasn't eaten, this stuff has only been out of the egg for less than a week. and it hasn't even shed. So if something comes out of the egg and it hasn't shed yet, like this one, what you really want to do is you want to keep the tub hydrated. So what I need to do, and this has just a little bit of humidity in this sphagnum moss ball. I want to give it a little more humidity and let it shed out. And then usually once they hatch, it's 7 days till they shed, and then usually another 7 days until they eat for the first time. And if they don't eat the first month or so, I'm not really worried. But some of these have been out for longer than that. So before we get into assist feeding, it's not really force feeding, it's assist feeding. We should talk about the metabolism of snakes. So let's take a look at that. So here's Lucy. She is my reticulated python female. She's looking for another rat. And she is a monster snake. But when she was really small, her metabolism was like unlike any other snake I've ever seen in my life. She could eat a rat to where it was literally bigger than she was around, and she'd have this big, huge bulge. Well, of course she was only like a pencil. But when I first got her, she would eat a rat, and it would give her a big bulge. And within 2 days, that bulge was gone, and she was pacing back and forth for another rat. And I could literally feed her 4 rats a week, and she would just burn through them. And she grew like a rocket. It was unbelievable how fast she grew and how fast she metabolized those rats. And if you give a ball python a rat, you'll see a bump for, 4 days, maybe 5 days, but not with the retic. A retic is a completely different beast. And I love these retics too. They are definitely gentle giants. As long as they're not in feeding mode, they're really easy to handle and a really peaceful snake. But usually when you first open the tub, they're expecting a rat, so you really have to watch out for it. So when I talk about retics, retics, I don't think I've never actually had a really, really young, just out of the egg retic. So it'll be interesting to see if I actually can get this girl to breed and lay some eggs, and once they hatch, how easily it'll be to get those babies to feed. But I'm guessing they will eat a lot easier than a ball python hatchling. So I have to warn you, on adult ball pythons, you should never, ever assist feed. No matter what, no matter what. So take a look at this one. So this is my biggest female ball python, and she is a beast. Take a look at this. So she weighs, she's like ready for a rat. But I'm actually going to feed her today, but let me take her out. She is really, really, look at how big she is. So a ball python that size could easily go a full year without a single meal and hardly lose any weight at all. A ball python is unlike any other beast that you've ever seen. I mean, you could put them in a box and stick them under your bed for 6 months and open the box and they're completely fine. As long as they have water. That's the one thing. But yeah, they can get a really slow metabolism once they get big. And they transform, like, I think it's like 80% of the mass of the rodents to body weight. So she almost looks like she's full of eggs, but I did an ultrasound and I didn't see any, but I think she's just really big. So she's definitely one of my upcoming breeders this year. She actually didn't lay last year, but I would say a girl like this would probably lay at least 15 eggs. I might have to scan her again because she almost looks big enough to have eggs in her. Okay, when I first hatched my very first ball python hatchlings, I put them in this rack right here. And I would say, originally I probably had maybe half the rack full of baby ball pythons. And I tried everything to get them to eat, and I could not get them to eat. I tried frozen thawed, I tried live rat pups. And this is kind of the easy way to feed. So if you look at some of my rats, the tiny little rat pups like this is what a lot of people feed their snakes. Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want them to come out. And then, I would say I kind of have this organized, so the further up you go, the bigger they get. But I have some in here that I would say I wouldn't feed them, this big. This is probably too big. But like like the size of that little. Oh yeah, like this one. Like this size would be perfect, I think, for a hatchling that had 6 rodents. And once they eat 6 rodents, they'll take those little pups real easy. And frozen thawed mice, they gobble those up like crazy. But they have to have some rodents in them before they'll eat live or the frozen thawed. And there's only one thing that I found that my baby ball pythons will eat, and that is mice, live baby mice, and they have to be live. And let me show you what I have over here. So in my mouse rack, I know for some people it's hard to feed live, and I think it takes a little getting used to. But so these little baby mice, these I know it seems like I have a lot of mice here, but with 123 snakes, the snakes just burn through these rodents like you wouldn't believe. I can go through a lot of rodents. So I'd say for one of my, probably the biggest live crawler I would use is something like this. I probably use a little bit bigger that I got from the pet store at one point. But for a brand new hatchling, first time meal, I would say something probably this size would be ideal. And usually with adult mice, you know, I'll euthanize them before I feed them. You know, use CO2. But I have to tell you, it was funny because I was basically taking live rat pups, and I had like 6 or 7 of them, and I moved them through like 6 tubs, and then the next day like 1 would eat, and then I moved to the next 6 tubs, and then the next day like 1 would eat, and I kept moving them all the way through, and then every few days I put them back in and get some fresh ones, and I just could not get them to eat. And then I went to the live mouse crawlers like that, and I bought a whole bunch of them, put them all in, and the first day every single one ate. And that's when I knew I'm definitely using the wrong thing for the first meal for these ball python hatchlings. And if you buy a ball python hatchling at the show, I know a lot of people, they don't want to feed live. It's tough to feed live, and as a matter of fact, I think some countries, it's illegal to feed live. And I don't know what you do if you can't feed live to a ball python hatchling. And a lot of times I'll go into like these big chain pet stores, and they'll have little baby ball python hatchlings, and they're all starving because they're not offering the right food, which is a live baby mouse crawler. And I think a lot of the big chains, they may have a policy against it, and I think a lot of the employees may be against it, and I hear a lot of backlash on a lot of the forums on the internet that's saying, hey, these big chain pet stores, they don't know what they're doing because they're not feeding these baby ball pythons live. So it's kind of it's almost a moral dilemma in some cases. And I found once you get them to eat 6 rodents, like, you know, I mean, if you open any of these tubs and you take a look at some of these snakes that ate 6 rodents, I mean, some of them will just kind of pop right out. they're like raring to go. So and yeah, see, like this guy. Yeah, this thing will eat anything. It seems like after 6 rodents, they'll eat frozen thawed easily. And that's kind of really where I want to get to, selling snakes at the show. I want a snake that you don't have to feed, live rodents to. I want you to be able to buy one of my snakes and feed frozen thawed, because I think that's kind of, once they start feeding frozen thawed, they're basically good to go for life. So it's kind of the breeders on the bottom end that are hatching the eggs. You have the ball python hatchlings, and you're trying to get them to eat for the first time. So in some cases they won't take anything, and that's kind of where I'm at today. I have a few that won't eat anything, and I'm going to try to assist feed. And the only time that you really want to assist feed is a ball python hatchling that kind of got past. You can see all the other hatchlings all around some of these ball pythons. I've had 6 meals, and that's the time to really get concerned and consider assist feeding. So I previously made a video on the proper way to euthanize rodents, and I think the only real proper way is to use CO2. And the thing with most rodents, all of your adult mice and rats and everything, so normally I turn the gas on for like 30 seconds and then give them an additional 3 minutes in the CO2 before I take them out. And I found that with these little mouse crawlers and rat pups, that the second 3 minutes doesn't do it. So if you're thinking about doing CO2 with your own rodents, I would definitely double those times. Alright guys, so I'm going to give this a shot. I have some little rodents here. And this is actually the very first time I have ever fed a snake. So we'll see how this goes. So I have a tiny little rat crawler here. And I've actually seen this on the internet, but I've never actually done it. So let's see how this goes. So basically what you do is you kind of work the rodent into their mouth, which is easier said than done. Yeah. We'll see how this actually goes here. Yeah, the other thing I've kind of noticed on this guy is he's got a little bit of purple right here, and this kind of looks a little distended. Yeah, I think this guy is pretty critical. We really need to get something in him. So let's see if we can do this. Yeah, just like that. And I've read that you just basically get it to where they have their yeah, kind of where they have their teeth on it. And then, yeah. As long as they have it in their mouth, then a lot of times I'm just going to walk away and we'll see if it actually eats. Alright guys, that is the way you do it. So I actually marked her tub as cyst fed, and I've heard you actually have to assist feed like 2 or 3 before they'll start taking some live, and then a few more live before they can go to the frozen thawed. So let's go to the next snake. Alright, so next up is this lesser ball python hatchling. Has not eaten a single meal, and I'm going to try it again. This one's pretty squirrely. You have to realize it's pretty much life or death for these hatchlings, and what you really want is him to hang on to it. You don't really want to stuff it in too far, but you just want his teeth to sink into it so he doesn't let it go when you let him go. So yeah, I think he's almost got it. Okay, so I tried once and it didn't work on this guy, so I'm going to try it again. And he's being a little bit stubborn. Let's see if I can assist feed one more time. Boy, he's really squirrely. Alright, so I'm going to try this a third time. See if I can get this a little lesser to eat. Seems like it's getting a little bit easier each time. He just needs to really, really eat. I just can't quite seem to sink his teeth into it. Alright. Maybe I just need to hold it a little until he relaxes. Maybe. He's like trying to spit it out. That looks promising. Alright, the third time was a charm on that one. So I'm actually going to move over to this Pastel that has not eaten. And you can see it's kind of everyone all around her. Let me zoom back out. Everyone all around her is basically eating multiple rodents, 4 rodents. And this one's kind of getting left behind. So I'm definitely going to try to get this one going. I think once they get 1 or 2 of those little rats or mice in them, I think they'll be doing good. So let me set up the tripod and we'll give this one a shot. Alright, this is kind of the the down and dirty part of being a ball python breeder. Is you kind of have to, I think this is one of the most difficult things that I've done that I'm not sure a lot of people would feel comfortable doing. So we'll take a look here how this guy takes this. Come on, buddy. There we go. Whew. Yeah. This one's kind of freaking out. You just don't really want to hurt the snake. But oh my. Wow. Yeah. That didn't go as well as planned. Almost seems like there should be an easier way. Like maybe I should hold the tail. I think it all depends on how you hold them. Hold the tail and hold the head. Maybe that's the trick. Then they can't kind of freak out. Yeah. No. This is my 3rd one ever in my whole life, so we'll see how this actually goes here. He's got it in his mouth, but it's not very straight. Alright, so we had 3 for 3, and I have to admit that this is one of the toughest videos that I've made, and it's probably even tougher for you guys to watch something like that. I mean, if you want to be a ball python breeder, you kind of have to make the decision, you know, do you want to try to force feed? Well, actually in the industry, kind of force feed is a kind of a bad term. We always call it assist feed. So do you want to assist feed, or do you want to lose some snakes? And there's a risk of losing some snakes, and some people say, you know, I don't really want to assist feed my snakes, I just want natural selection to go its course. And I don't really like that kind of thinking. If I can save a snake, or any animal, as a matter of fact, I will do whatever it takes to save that animal. And sometimes it takes, you know, getting down and dirty in the trenches, down here in the snake room, and that's kind of what we did today. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.